Hola chicos, soy Señor Wicks. Gracias por pasar por aquí. Today we're going to talk about the preterite. By now you're very familiar with the present tense, first, second, and third person, AR, ER, and IR verbs, but you can only do so much with the present. Every now and then we got to talk about what we did yesterday, last night, last week when I was 3 years old. Spanish has two present tenses. One is called the preterite, the other is called the imperfect. The preterite is for things that were over and done with in the past, like sudden and accidental things. The tree fell. I wrecked the car. I ate the hamburger. The phone rang. The bell rang. The imperfect is ongoing things in the past when we're not really worried about when they began or when they ended. Like I used to read a book every day, or when I was walking down the street, that would be in the imperfect. We're going to talk about the imperfect in the future. Right now, we're going to talk about the preterite. So what's the first thing you do when you conjugate a verb in the present tense? You find that infinitive, take the ending off, leaving the stem, and you replace that ending with an ending that matches the subject. Well, that's the exact same thing that we're going to do in the preterite. The only difference is the preterite has some different endings. So you're familiar with first, second, and third person. You know, yo, I is first person, tú, you is second person, él and ella and usted are third person. And then the plural form of those, we, nosotros, y'all, vosotros, and ellos for they, or ustedes. And you know that uh, verbs have in the present tense you've got your endings hablo, hablas, hablan, hablamos, habláis, hablan, and then er and ir verbs have their own endings. We also know that our subjects can not only have to be pronouns, but they can also be uh, people. So los dos estamos, I misspelled dos there. Los dos estamos would mean we two. I can say tú y Juan, and that means you and Juan. That's vosotros. I can say only Maria, and that's ella. Or I can say Maria y Gustavo. So when we're replacing subjects, we may not be replacing a pronoun, or we may not be matching a pronoun. We might be matching a person with the correct ending. Well, the preterite does the exact same thing. The preterite takes the ending off, tacks it onto our stem. The preterite just has some different endings. Let's look at those endings now. The preterite ending for AR verbs is, for the yo form, it's a stressed E. So with hablar, it'd be yo hablé. For two, it's haste, and with hablar, it'd be tu hablaste. With the third person singular, o habló, él habló, means he spoke yesterday. And then the nosotros forms, nosotros hablamos, vosotros hablasteis, and ellos hablaron. That ending is aron for the ellos and ustedes form. The ER and the IR verbs have the same ending. So that's one less thing we have to keep up with. And they are, in the yo form, a stressed I. So with comer, that'd be yo comí. That means I ate it. Iste, for tu comiste would mean you ate it. Comió, he ate it. Él comió. And then, of course, the plural forms, nosotros comimos, comisteis, and comieron. There's an eron for that ending. Now those endings are exactly the same on IR verbs. So let's use it with vivir. Yo hablé, yo viví, tú viviste, él vivió, nosotros vivimos, vosotros vivisteis, and ellos vivieron. Now, some interesting notes here. If you look at nosotros hablamos, that should look familiar because in the nosotros, the AR verbs in the nosotros position is the same in the present and in the preterite. So how do we know the difference? Well, by context. If I say, Hoy hablamos, that means we're speaking today. If I say ayer, nosotros hablamos, that means we spoke yesterday. You have to look at those time words in context, and it will tell you what means what. Another interesting thing, like I said before, is that ER and IR verbs have the same endings. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. The preterite has some irregulars. There's two sets of irregulars. There's some super irregulars, which are kind of tough because not only they change the endings, they change the stem. But we're not going to study those for a while yet. The ones we're going to look at today, I call the easy irregulars. There's only 4 of them, and they're very common words that we use all the time. Let's look at those right now. Our 4 irregular verbs start with ser. You know, ser means to be. I am, you are, we are, they are. Yo soy, tú eres, él es, nosotros somos, ellos son. In the preterite, it is yo fui, tú fuiste, él fue, nosotros fuimos, vosotros fuisteis, y ellos fueron. Okay? An interesting thing, ir, which means to go, has the exact same construction in the preterite. So if I want to say I went or you went, I'll be saying yo fui, tú fuiste, él fue, nosotros fuimos, vosotros fuisteis, ellos fueron. So if I say yo fui, how do I know if I'm saying I was or I went? If I say yo fui a la tienda ayer, then you don't think that I was a store. From context, you know I went to a store. If I say el examen fue horrible, you know I'm not saying the test went to something horrible. It was something horrible. El fue, the test, el fue horrible. My other 2 easy irregulars starts with dar. Dar means to give. And so those conjugations are yo di, tú diste, él dio, nosotros dimos, vosotros disteis, ellos dieron. So I gave, you gave, he gave, we gave, y'all gave, they gave. My other easy irregular is ver. Ver, you know, means to see. So if I wanted to say I saw, you saw, he saw, and so forth, we would say yo vi, tú viste, él vio, nosotros vimos, vosotros visteis, ellos vieron. Now notice this. In my first person and in my third person, in the regular preterite, these locations had a stressed vowel. Yo hablé, él habló, yo comí, él comió, yo viví, él vivió. With these 2, dar and ver, there are no accent marks. So it's simply yo di and él dio. Yo vi and él vio. So that's it. So that's it in a nutshell. That's the preterite. Let's start talking about what we did yesterday, last year, when I was 5 years old. Let's talk up the preterite. Practice, 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 practice. The more you practice, the easier it'll get. We'll talk about these others in future videos. Thanks for watching, and nos vemos en la clase. Adiós.